It's time for Notes on Local Entertainment, the show highlighting the best in local talent. Hosted by Scott Tady Entertainment, editor for the Beaver County Times, and Eddie Crow.
I like to let it rock out a little bit when you get here. Scott Tady is here. Scott Tady is the entertainment editor for the Beaver County Times. He's my guest every Thursday about this time. It's 11:36 on Teleforum. Rain continues. It's 50 degrees in downtown Beaver Falls. We talk about concerts and we talk about events and we talk about special things and all that. And we're going to do that. We're going to do that. But I want to pick your brain, Scott, because I saw you last night. You were at the Bob Berickman tribute. I had no idea the legend of that guy. I thought he was a legend, but hearing the stories last night, did you hear, well, let me rephrase it. How many things did you hear that you had not ever heard before?
Yeah, and just how universally well-liked he was, and everyone respected him. Everyone admired his work ethic. Everyone admired his passion for sports and for Beaver County, and just exuded that. I can't think of another person top of my head who everyone liked. You've never heard a bad story about Bob, and it was a really nice turnout. People at Roberts Roadside last night, and yeah, what are they calling it now? The Brick House.
It's the Brick House.
I like that
because that was his nickname. I knew that was his nickname, but we heard the story last night. We heard so many stories last night, and more than a few pennies was raised for the Bob Berickman Scholarship.
I used to see him a lot at the library in Beaver County Times. Where we have our morgue, as we call it, all the old articles, and he did a lot of research there. I mean, of course, he had a very great memory as well, but he had the journalistic thing about him. He wanted to get the facts right. He wanted to get the dates, the times, and so he did a lot of research there, which didn't surprise me.
That, and I've shared this on the air, but I'll tell you, the games that I got assigned to do with him, he was play-by-play and I was color, and I knew walking in, I got nothing to contribute, and I would tell him, Bob, it's on you. When you stop talking, I'll say something stupid. When I get done saying something stupid, I'll try and time it. And no problem, Eddie. And I loved working with the guy.
Yeah, encyclopedia knowledge and the passion, that really stood out. You could tell there was no other place he wanted to be than right there at that football game, that basketball game or whatever, and that was contagious.
And you mentioned something else about him, and you're in the media, and you've been in the media a long time. I'm going to ask you a simple question. What level of rarity is recognized when no one talks crap about you and you never talk crap about other people?
Yeah, that is a rare breed right there. And like you said, it stood out. That's why people were donating money to his foundation last night. That's why so many people turn out to Roberts Roadside Inn. That's why he has a pavilion named after him now. And
the Brick House.
A nice testimony, yes.
And I had no idea. I was learning stuff. I didn't know that he used to DJ like
Sunday nights.
Sunday night sock hop DJ stuff. That makes me love the guy even more.
Yeah, and those he wasn't pressing computer keys. He was those old school turntable.
Oh, he was
vinyl.
Scratching 2 turntables and a microphone.
Exactly.
So, does that make you feel a little bit closer to your home when you see that level of support for somebody? The fabric of Beaver County gets at least a little bit recognized. There are people that recognize it.
Yeah, and it's always kind of cool where in many ways we feel like we share things with Pittsburgh and everything. But every once in a while, someone's ours. He's ours.
Donnie Iris.
Donnie Iris is ours.
Yeah.
The Granati brothers.
Ours.
Toured the world, but the Beaver County pride kind of the chest puffs out a little bit for someone like Bob.
It absolutely should. And do you hope one day, God willing, they'll have a nice tribute to you? I'm not saying you'll die, but do you think about that? Because as I was standing there and I'm hearing these stories, when you go to a funeral, you think about, well, what's your funeral going to be like? I heard people telling stories that no one would ever tell about me. Did that pop into your head last night after the second or maybe third beer?
I only had one.
Okay.
And I didn't think about that last night, but I have thought about it before. And 2 things. The people who've been on a Brighton hot dog shop cup, I'm so jealous of. We have the recent TV stars. I remember like Amber Burkich on Survivor. Or at Bowser's Restaurant in Center Township, they have all their sandwiches named after people, but they're outdated. They have like a Cordell Stewart. Who's going in there asking for a Cordell Stewart or just some really bizarre Mark Malone, some players that
Mark
played.
Malone.
Yeah. So I want
They hand it to you, but they don't hand it to you. They throw it to you and they miss.
They don't have an eggplant Parmesan sandwich. I'm hoping Bowser's would someday, if I do another 10 years, name a eggplant Parmesan sandwich after me. That's when my work is done. That's when I ride off into the sunset.
Is that it?
Oh,
That's when you know you made it, when you've got a sandwich named after you or a pavilion named after you.
Yeah. Kind of thing, is there a Donnie Iris Avenue in Newcastle or Elwood City?
If there's not, I'm going up there with a spray can.
Let's do it.
There should be. What would the Donnie Iris sandwich be?
Oh, good.
All right,
question.
I may have to ponder on that a little bit.
Something with mustard in case you spill it on your yellow suit.
The yellow suit.
Exactly.
Alietis. No, we're gonna have to work on it. Talk show host, the sandwich should be something with tongue.
Yeah, there you go. Why not?
All right. Eggplant. Oh, you're a vegetarian.
Exactly. They have a vegetarian sandwich at Bowser's. It's named after Brett Michaels, who I'm not sure if he's vegetarian. He's diabetic, but
I didn't know those two swapped out.
Yeah, I've ordered it many times. It's a very good sandwich.
All right, let's build a Tady. It's chicken parmesan. What else goes on it? Just chicken parmesan and the sauce and the cheese and
eggplant. I'm saying,
or eggplant.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. You got to have that good pasta sauce and a cheese that just melts everywhere. Crispy kind of bread.
You don't feel a bit limited being a vegetarian when you're trying to get somebody to name food after you? But
there's a void there. They don't have an eggplant sandwich yet.
I would rather. Okay, so you want them to make a new product for you.
This isn't a priority, but
you don't think
brought it up.
It became one now. I want
music. Let's talk.
No, we're not done.
Oh.
I want to be on a Brighton hot dog cup.
Those are so cool.
I have wanted to be on a Brighton hot dog cup since the first time I saw a Brighton hot dog cup in like 1996.
I was very sad when my Gilligan's Island Brighton hot dog shop cup finally broke. I mean, there was no doubting the Marianne Ginger argument there when you saw them in hot dog form on a Brighton hot dog shop cup.
That's crossing a lot of streams in my head. Scott Tady is my guest. He's the entertainment editor for the Beaver County Times. Do you have a stack of old Brighton cups in a cupboard somewhere?
I did for a while. I did have the Amber Burkich one.
Okay.
I have a bunch of stuff when she was on Survivor. No, I don't. Do you? Or
oh, absolutely.
Who you got?
I don't remember. They're just that's my Brighton stack. I get Brighton dogs anytime I got to get my truck worked on. There's a Brighton hot dogs within walking distance. I give them the keys to the truck. That's the lunch. 3 chili cheese onion, small fry, malt vinegar on the fries. You walk out so bloated.
Well, they have a current cup with the female stars of that show on Outdoor Channel, Joni Sprague.
Right.
From Patterson Township, and then I'm drawing a blank on Christy Miller, I want to say, from New Brighton. They're on a TV show on Outdoor Channel. They fix up old hunting cabins, and they've been honored with the current cup. You go in there right now, you can get them on a plastic cup.
Well, then I'm gonna have 3 chili cheese onions and get me a new cup. Talk about concerts. It's kind of a slow weekend because it's Easter weekend, obviously, but there's still stuff you're covering.
I've been racking my brain. The only epic Easter show I can remember, it was Easter Eve, so Saturday before was Jeff Beck years ago in the Carnegie Museum, the Carnegie Hall there. But yeah, you don't get too many shows booked for this. But I saw it going last night though. As soon as I was down at Roberts Roadside Inn, I hustled.
I noticed you were there for a little bit and then you were gone. You had a gig, okay?
Been hearing about this woman named Trinity Wiseman. She's a Nashville singer-songwriter, but she grew up in Pittsburgh. I think Elizabeth High School. She's performed in Beaver County. She was at the Monaca those first Fridays they had in 2021, and very talented. Kind of indie, kind of country. I'd compare to like Jewel or someone like that.
Okay. Talking about reality shows.
How about that?
Yeah.
No yodeling like Jewel, but very talented. So I'll be writing about her in my upcoming column, but I'm hoping that her name's Trinity Wiseman. I'm telling people to get a chance. The cool thing is she's one of those people I discovered. Remember in the heat of the pandemic in 2020 when everything was shut down and we were watching artists stream online.
From their basement.
Yeah,
it was home. It was basically NPR's little concert from people's home.
I watched a lot of those just to get by, and one of the artists that really, really impressed me was this Trinity Wiseman. So it was cool to finally see her in a lounge in downtown Pittsburgh. Her dad was playing drums, one of those cajon drums they call them, where you sit on and you bang away. Covering, doing originals, doing Fleetwood Mac, doing Taylor Swift, Avril Lavigne, Alanis Morissette. It was a good time. So, but yeah, it's weird. That's one example of someone I saw on the internet when there was no shows who I was so excited to finally get a chance to see her in person.
Be completely honest, during that time, and I was right there with you, we were looking for anything to feel better, and people doing shows from their basement. Okay, did you see anybody that you walked away going, oh, stop doing that?
Oh.
Because it was an opportunity for unknown people to have a chance to be known because of what the viewership was during that time. You don't got to say their name.
Yeah.
But was there somebody you said, dear God, take that guitar away from that person?
I can think of one, yeah.
Okay.
And he or she was trying, so it wasn't a lack of effort, but maybe the song selection.
Was it a tribute to punk where you didn't feel the need to know how to play the instruments?
It was more, and I remember doing an article on this where artists where one artist said, "Look, you're on camera. You got to dress up. Don't pretend like you're on stage. Don't show up in your college sweatshirt that's got a coffee stain on it." And there were some people that were taking it too grunge. I mean, I get you're in your basement, but you don't have to dress like you're in your basement if you're live streaming.
Are you allowed to wear flannel and not be instantly pigeonholed as grunge?
Well, that makes sense. Yeah, if you're a Pearl Jam tribute band or something.
Yeah, you go back and go, oh no, I wasn't a Pearl Jam fan. I like Temple of the Dog. That was way different. Yes, it was half of them.
Yeah.
Talk about Easter. As a kid, how big a deal was it?
I'm glad that they still do the Easter egg hunts, and I'm glad that people still do the Easter baskets. I think that's fun. You got to do it.
Did you do an Easter basket when you were a kid?
What makes you think I ever stopped? But yeah.
Even better question. All right, let me ask you this. Best Easter candy. I've already shared mine a couple days ago.
I'm
Mike and Jennifer.
Rosalind's fan. Love, for sure. Yeah. There's peanut butter meltaways. I could and have eaten the whole box, but
and just sit there sick.
But remember the bird's nest with the jelly bean eggs?
Yeah.
I liked not the jelly bean eggs, but the nest itself had a really interesting texture. What was that in there? Is that coconut, or I can't remember what the deal was with it?
It was like shredded wheat covered in chocolate and coconut.
Exactly.
It was basically frosted flakes with different frosting.
That was a one time a year. You couldn't have one of those in November and enjoy it.
Were you allowed to have your Easter basket before or after you went to church? After they didn't even give you one to keep you. Well, you had the new leisure suit on, didn't you?
Yeah, probably. My hair parted just right.
It is Teleforum. I'm Eddie Crow. Scott Tady is my guest. Are you excited about the upcoming concert season? The reason I asked, somebody posted a list, and it was just a list of who's appearing at Star Lake by date.
Yeah.
And I thought of you when I saw that. It's like there's a lot of concerts that I would really love to see. I don't know that I would want to be forced to run down that entire list. Does it seem busier this year, or does it just seem busier because we haven't had it for 2 years?
It does. We kept saying this is going to be the biggest year. This is going to be. I think that finally is coming true. There's a 2-week period in September where PPG Paints Arena has Eric Clapton, Peter Gabriel, and 2 nights of Bruce Springsteen. I mean, that's a pretty good September right there. You mentioned Star Lake, yeah, like Dead and Company. They say it's their last tour ever, so last chance to see Bob Weir until the next last tour. But I will be there. I can't wait for that. Wiz Khalifa and Snoop Dogg is going to be a lot of fun. Whole bunch of country out there, of course, because country does well. Last year it was the biggest format. We saw that with Morgan Wallen being the #1 act at Star Lake. So. Yeah, it's a good lineup. Interesting, Leonard Skinner's coming back. That's another band we said they had done their farewell, and there are no original members alive, let alone in the band, right?
Right.
But they're doing a show with ZZ Top.
I think Billy Powell was the last one.
I think Gary Rosington was.
Oh no, you're right. It was Billy, and then Gary. Just not too long ago, Gary Rosington passed away.
And that's like a Labor Day weekend show, but it'll get a turnout. I mean, whether it is a tribute band or not, it's a band that has a huge fan base. So.
I want to ask you about touring. I'm not going to get into the political side of it, but there is a guy going out, and it's the No Snowflake Tour, and there are 4 dates. You're a professional. You've covered tours for decades. What's the minimum number of dates before you can call it a tour?
Oh, 10 to 12.
Okay.
And I get mad when I get a press release. Some big name is doing a U.S. tour, worldwide tour, and you click on it. It's New York, Chicago, L.A., and then...
And then maybe Miami
Tokyo or something.
Miami or Atlanta.
Yeah, don't even waste my time telling me that's a tour.
Is there a tour that you want to see that hasn't come back out yet? Is there somebody that you want to see because people are coming back out? I never thought I'd get a chance to see and overpay to see Clapton again.
Yeah, he doesn't move around much on stage anymore. But I'm hoping the Cure come here now that Robert Smith's a bastion for taking on Ticketmaster. They ticked off the wrong goth. He's getting money back for concert goers.
He's rich as Midas and has a lot of free time and was not the guy to make mad. For the people that don't know, they want to go out, the Cure, and they wanted to charge old school. They wanted to charge what?
$20 lawn tickets.
$20 lawn tickets. And that's what they did. And people started buying Cure tickets, but that $20 lawn ticket was $70-something after fees. Oh, you angered the wrong goth.
Yes.
Because there have been refunds issued. They shut down tickets, the resale market. They shut those tickets down electronically. Does that give you hope if more artists do that? Because
Yes.
you and I agree, and we've talked about this, and I'll tell it to Jesus. Ticketmaster is a monopoly scam, period, the end. You're getting charged fees from Ticketmaster, and you're also getting charged fee, not coincidentally, from the Live Nation venue, which is owned by the same people.
And I mentioned this a few weeks ago, and the LA Times did an expose, and another big publication just duplicated something similar. A lot of the artists are in on that. A lot of the artists are happy to let Ticketmaster be the lightning rod, draw the heat, but they got their hands out because they're getting the cut of those $46 service fees. And, that's why it's cool that Robert Smith of The Cure and Zach Bryan and people like that are shining a spotlight on what's going on.
How long do you think if somebody, I don't think this is going to happen, but let's say Congress actually stays focused long enough to smack Ticketmaster, how long would it take before there would be a comparable ticket service? I'm asking you this and building up to the TikTok question. If they ban TikTok, how long is it going to be before somebody else says, well, I'll do that?
Why don't they do that? If it's the concern, it's the Chinese government. Why doesn't someone from America create an American version of TikTok and problem solved? Why has that not happened?
You're applying, two reasons. One, you're applying logic. Two, the argument against TikTok is, they're data mining all of your information.
Not like your iPhone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. The phone, where is it? I don't know.
That listens to you. Have you ever been talking something in a conversation and then you go open your phone and there's an ad for it?
Yeah.
That is frightening.
A friend of mine, we were having a conversation the other day about guitars. Picked up my phone. The first ad that popped up was from Martin Guitars. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Martin Guitars. I have one. But it's listening at all times.
Yes.
We're data mined every single day with algorithms. It drives me crazy that there's somebody doing it, getting yelled at, and everybody else is doing it, and nobody's yelling at them.
Yeah.
The frustration of it.
People don't know it.
When did you come to terms with technology?
Uh,
No, I'm being dead serious because I think everybody should at some point realize what's going on. We are being micromanaged emotionally through an algorithm from a device that we agreed to allow it to do that.
and pay a lot of money to own.
Where's my phone? Yeah, to replace my phone, it's half what my truck's worth.
I think people should talk about it more. I'm surprised more people aren't fired up about it like you and I are. But, I mean, what can you do? You need a phone to exist. You need a phone in your hands. You can take pictures, so you can, check the internet while you're on the go. So
But you don't.
what's the alternative?
We think we do.
True.
We don't.
Depends on your occupation, I would say.
No, it doesn't. If your occupation involves taking pictures, you have a camera. You're old enough, like me, you remember the before time.
But now I'm showing up at events and my ticket is on my phone. They're no longer doing printout tickets.
And I believe
Steeler games. When I go to
Steelers
Steeler
games, you can't spend cash money.
Right.
It's not possible.
And you're holding your phone up to get in. You don't have a hard copy ticket anymore.
I don't like it.
I don't either.
All right. What did I not ask you that I should have before we get down too deep in the conspiratorial rabbit hole of technology?
2 days left to vote in our Pizza Madness contest. The Beaver County Times, we did a March Madness bracket, and it's between D&G Pizza, Beaver Falls versus Police Station Pizza in Ambridge. And people were fired up about they love those two places. And
all right. Be my consultant. What do? I work in Beaver Falls. I live in Ambridge. I live a block away from Police Station.
oh, yeah.
What do I do?
That's a Sophie's choice there. I don't know.
I'm going to abstain.
They both have square pizza, and the interesting fact, D&G learned, the guy that founded D&G learned from the guy who founded Police Station. So they're even kind of linked together. I have that in my story.
Scott Tady is my guest. I'm going to go get pizza. Good seeing you. That's twice in 2 days.
I'll see you there at the pizza place.
All right. You and me, we're headed that way. It's Teleforum on Beaver County Radio.
Hi, folks. I'm with our good friend John Diagardi